You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead. Kevin.
I'm 6'5", 250, and trained, so bring that shit on, bitches.
I was listening to Truth on Tap with Kevin A. Kierstead last night. I've never really called into Kevin's show or gotten into any banter to him because, to be honest with you, he's way too intellectual for me. I mean, I'm no dummy, but this guy, I don't think I can hang with him verbally in just, discussing the issues. He's a really smart guy.
That's Wes Johnson. Find him at wesjohnson.com. The greatest on-air personality to ever bless the United States of America.
He does a really good show. It's very professionally done. He's on iHeartRadio.
I can sniff out bullies from a mile away, and I love to go after them. I am not alpha male until an alpha male shows up and tries to start bossing me around. That's when the alpha male comes out in me. I'm an alfalfa male. Once an alpha male gets in my face, I'm an alfalfa male. The cowlick pops up on the back of the head.
Every once in a while, you have to go to war.
The pants rise to become high waters. I got my dukes up.
I'm gonna, what do you call it, mute my mic so I don't deafen you, or defecate on you. And, oh shit, he made a poop noise. And then we're gonna...
And I'm ready to rock and roll. Give him a little Jack Johnson, Yeah.
Truth on Tap is now flowing from iHeartRadio. Get your Kierstead fix by Googling Truth on Tap with Kevin A. Kierstead. All the truth you can handle running hot on iHeart, Facebook, Spreaker, and more. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth on Tap.
There it is, 828151014. Oh, let's see, what can we use PM for tonight? Let's say peanut. I hope I haven't used that one before. And what do I want for M? How about McMuffin? I mean, yeah, it's a proper noun given by a corporate entity, sure, but it works. It's a word. I don't know if it would be in the dictionary. That's a tough one. We'd have to find out about that. All right, I got to see if my show's coming through as always. First we test, later we do comedy. Now, you guys have heard Ramzy on this show before, right? Yeah, you have. And he's funny in a special way. If you ever saw a video, you should look him up, Ramzy Swice, RAMZY-SWEIS. Because Ramzy is one of the few wannabe comedians that I know that truly is self-deprecating. I mean, he will make fun of himself for laughs, and I think that's admirable. He's a rather vertically challenged friend, but he's incredibly intelligent, and that's what I love most about him. So far, unless my spidey sense is wrong, he's the only short guy that I've never really had problems with. And I don't go messing with short guys. They like to come messing with me. And then, I can either do like they do in the cartoons with the hammer fist, and you drive them into the ground like a peg, and they're like, let me out of here. And you're like, no, you fucked with me. Or, you can just ignore them. There are several in-betweens, of course, and you do what you're going to do. We're going to move it on. I got some news up here that I will not read to you. Do some of you guys like to have news read to you? Yeah? Let me give you some advice about that. Yeah, I'm kind of qualified. You probably want to get your news from a professional source. Now, if you want to be told what to think, well, then you should go find a host that's going to tell you what to think. And that means about how to interpret the news that's going on. And this is incredibly difficult to have your own voice coming back into your head when you monitor your show while continuing to speak freely. I don't do scripture notes. It's all off the top of my head. That's what keeps it fun for me, and that's the way it's going to continue to go. I think Guy Shea, who does a Rage Live show, I think he might actually use notes on his Rage Live show because it's so friggin' organized when he does it. I don't know, maybe he just memorized it. Some people have memories like that. I don't know. I have to be creative because I don't have that kind of memory, especially when it comes to trying to keep notes organized and, you know, reading from some kind of script or something. It doesn't sound right. It sounds weird. Yeah, well, there's Ramzy trying to come on. I'm not ready for you yet, Ramzy. God damn it, I said I'd call you. Yeah. I guess because Ramzy is a 15's counting down. I love you, man. You know I love you, Ramzy. You're like a brother to me, you Arab fucker. He is my one true connection to the Middle East. You know, Ramzy, his family came from Jordan. They're the guys out there in the middle of nowhere. Hold on, I think a new song is starting. I should have stopped that. Oh, that's Paul Dembski's statement from last week. Let's go ahead and stop that. We've had enough of that. So we will not be talking about anything truly serious tonight unless something comes up. You can't really predict these things very well. But the goal of tonight's show is try to get some laughs going. I've been wanting to find out anyway what's going on with Ramzy. And as some of you guys that do podcasts know, you can actually use your podcast to catch up with somebody. It shows a human connection, filling in the gaps between the time you've spent apart from each other, not talking, I'm interested in what's going on with Ramzy's life. I want him to make it. I saw one of his comedy acts recently done where? Jordan. And he was a fucking star. The only mistake I think he made was to move through it too quickly. When you're doing comedy, and I'm just an observer, I'm not a comedian, obviously, I like the pauses. Like, have you ever noticed a good comedian, like he'll say something and get some laughs, and he'll stop, and the laughs come in another wave? Like they're laughing, or they're thinking about the thing you just said a little more deeply. And then sometimes the comedian will actually smile or laugh, especially when they try to look away and like cover it. And that creates like a third wave of laughs. You can use that. You can use that in your comedy act. Ramzy went 100 miles an hour through this act. I don't know, maybe he had a time limit. I figure in Jordan, there may have been some Taliban infiltrators, might have had an AK-47 pointing at him, giving him 5 minutes to do his thing, but what surprised me is after his act in Jordan, a female came up. Now think about the culture in the Middle East. And the next thing you know in Jordan, who has become hopelessly Americanized, which I think they like. I don't think they're resisting it too much. A woman who is considered in that type of... Now in Jordan, they actually treat their women well. In the rest of the Middle East, they line them up and shoot them if they get out of line. Now, in Jordan... to see a woman up there, and she was like in kind of like business attire and, just being taken seriously. I was just like, this place is coming along. And they're dead in the middle of all the goddamn caveman thinkers over there, and they're coming up anyway. So Jordan may become a target, I'm afraid. I hope not. I can imagine that the resisting Middle Easterners, the Islamic extremists, the people who absolutely are terrified of change and growth, which there are plenty of Americans that are the same way, will seek to attack anything that proposes just such notions. But in my heart, I think Jordan's strong. I think they're going to make it. I think they're making a statement like, hey, we're getting in to the 21st century here, equal treatment, equal rights, voting, all of that. You guys are either going to come along or you're going to be left behind. What do you want to do? That's up to you. I was watching, what was I watching last night? I was watching No Country for Old Men. And you remember, I don't know if you've seen it, I'm not going to ruin it for you if you haven't, but the old dude's in there says, you can't stop what's coming. It's not going to wait on you. And, it was basically about Tommy Lee Jones' character not being ready for this new breed of criminals that were super tough and organized and absolutely callous, cold, and calculating in their murders. And he couldn't figure it out. It was inhumane to him, and that's when he figured it's time to retire. But that was what the old man was saying. You can't change this. This is coming with or without your approval. Well, Jordan's coming with or without Afghanistan, Iraq, or Iran's approval, or Syria's approval, and fuck Syria if I may, and I may. Yeah, they're still raping 10-year-old girls in the villages. Yeah, gang raping, that's what Assad's regime's doing, and that's okay with people, apparently. You don't hear about it. Yep, still going on. It's like people on this network acting like they care about kids while going to listen to a show done by a guy who posted a photo on Facebook of an 8-year-old girl under which he wrote, quote, "Would you fuck this little whore?" Unquote. They're okay with that. Yeah. Hypocrisy runs rampant. Is it close, linear with a someone like I believe it was Walt Whitman that said, might have been, yeah, I think it was Whitman that said, do I contradict myself? Very well, then I contradict myself. I'm large, I contain multitudes. Well, if we're not as large as him, we should contradict ourselves less, right? I guess that's his, but of course that was a matter of opinion. Anyway, I don't want to get too far off into philosophy or something silly like that when tonight's show is about comedy. I think it's just about time to grab us a Ramsification. Have you ever been Ramsified? You never been Ramsified? All right, well, we're going to see if we can get him on right now, and you will be Ramsified. Let's hope this fucking works. I have no idea if it'll work. Ramzy says connecting. Maybe he's not ready. How much you want to bet he's in the shitter? That's all right. That's all right. I can go on without him. I kind of appreciated a couple of shows that Guy Shea did recently, and I missed last night's one, but the one before that I caught, and I actually listened after on last night's one. But he's a strong character. He's not a person you can budge, you know. And I think that comes from experience and you know, being middle age or older. Younger people are still more impressionable, still kind of, you know, wavy in their that you can tell them things and change them, whereas you can't do that with older people. I don't know if you've ever heard of the reverse pyramid of preferences. It tends to accompany any standard introductory psychology course about when people get older. Yeah, so when people get older, they may have liked 10 different types of pizza at the age of 20. By the age of 50, they like 3 types, and that's it. So everything becomes narrowed. They know what they like, and that's all they like. And I don't know what that means. Batman, Spider-Man, Superman roast. What are you doing, Ramzy? Anyway, I think Ramzy's busy right now. He'll be on in a second. Kelly should be on later. Kelly, also an East Coaster. I don't know much about Kelly, and sometimes I think it's fun to have a curveball thrown into your show. I think it can really liven things up, so we'll see how that goes. I don't even know how to introduce Kelly. I'm going to let Kelly, it's spelled Kelly. I'm going to assume, I'm not going to make any assumptions. You just don't know these days. Oh, so let's see. We're going to do comedy. We're going to talk about, I'm not going to talk about news. You don't need people to read you the news. Well, you might need that, but I tend to get my news from respectable professional sources, and that way I don't get confused. If you look up the top 20 radio shows in America, go ahead and look them up. It's easy. You can use the Google, and when you do, look up and ask yourself this. Ask yourself a few things. One, among all of those shows you see, which one of them, or which few of them, have hosts who routinely attack other show hosts? You're going to come up with roughly 0. Number 2, ask yourself how many are far right or conservative, how many could be considered educational or somewhere in the center, and how many are far left or liberal or any other category you want to go into, statist or communist or fucking Marxist or whatever, social, I don't care. Well, what do you see there? What I see is a pretty huge demand on the far right for the talk radio. Now, you might be wondering what's going on with the center and the left. I encourage you to wonder that, and I encourage you to think about it, and I encourage you to try to come up with some conclusions on that. Anyway, I am a center guy. I believe we should love our fellow Americans. We need to take care of our very young, very old, very sick. We need to make sure that there are equal rights across all races, and one of these days I'll be saying all sexes because it's getting kind of crazy now. That includes Arabs. And you think every Arab you meet is a terrorist, then you have not been educated. You don't get it. Now, if you want to just be scared of them, well, that's the way to think then. Call them towel heads, right? Well, that's not very mature. And one of the dumbest things I've ever heard is take my country back. Let's take America back. Are you fucking kidding? Who's got America? Huh? Who's got America? Let's take our country back. There's only one group of people that has a right to say that, and that's the fucking Native Americans. So you better just shut up and be happy you have the country right now, older white people. It'll be gone. Yeah, we're a melting pot, aren't we? Aren't we all going to become brown? I mean, that's the biological certainty over time, given enough time. So it's time to start accepting other cultures and getting in with the program. Otherwise, you might as well just go ahead and shoot them all. I mean, do something. Don't just sit there and bitch about it. If you just can't stand black people, you might as well get rid of them, right? If you can't stand